Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Optron Geospatial Technology webinar today. Before we start, if everybody can just switch off, make sure that your camera is switched off and also that you are muted. And the webinar will also be recorded and the recording will be sent out to everybody afterwards. So as many of you might know, Optron was recently appointed the dealer for Reutech mining in Africa. And this webinar today is just to introduce the Reutech suite of products to all of you. So my name is Kobus Botha. I'm the subject matter expert for the information monitoring and infrastructure for Optron. And our guest presenter today is Tertius van Zyl. Tertius van Zyl is a regional marketing and sales manager of Reutech Mining. And he's responsible for the regional sales in Africa, as well as managing Reutech mining distributors and other partners in India, Russia, Turkey, Europe, Iran, and now also Optron in Africa. So Tertius has a strong sales and marketing background with a marketing management qualification obtained through UNISA. Before joining Reutech, he spent some time in Afghanistan for the execution of a military vehicle modification contract for a company called RMA. After that, he was actually transferred to the mining department in Pretoria in 2012. And then Tertius joined Reutech in 2017. So before we continue, you are welcome to please, we'll have some questions at the end, or time for questions at the end, but also please feel free to ask questions in the chat window as well. And we can see if we can answer them, or otherwise we'll keep the questions and answers for the end. So Tertius, you can take it away.
Thank you, Kobus. I'd like to start by sharing my screen, and then I'll get into my presentation. Let's just start there quickly. Okay, is it on the screen, Kobus?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I do know that it can be a bit difficult to keep your concentration levels up this time of the afternoon, late in the day, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. And thank you, Kobus, for the introduction and allowing me some time to present on your webinar today. And yes, we are very pleased to have announced Optron as our official distributor for Africa. We made this official in May this year. And we do look forward to a very prosperous relationship with our new partners, Optron. Most of you know Optron and their products. So it's my privilege today to talk a bit about our company, Reutech, and the products that we are bringing to Optron, and that's also now available through Optron. I'm going to talk about a bit about who we are, obviously in our products and where we operate. And then we're going to have some time for some questions if you have some questions afterwards. I'm going to do a bit of a company introduction. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I just want to explain to you where Reutech Mining actually fits into the mining environment or the global picture. Reutech Mining was established in 2007 and is a division of Reutech Radar Systems that was founded in 1987. The company's radar capability has broadened significantly since then, with the local development and manufacture of a wide range of surveillance and tracking radars for the South African National Defence Force, foreign defence forces, and the security industry. Reutech Radar Systems is a division of Reutech Limited, which is our holding company. And Reutech was listed on the JSE in 1948. And is listed under the Industrial Goods and Services Electronic and Electrical Equipment sector of the JSE. And the Reutech Group primarily operates in South Africa with smaller operations in Australia, Lesotho, Sweden, the USA, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. And we fall under the Applied Electronics branch or arm. They've got various divisions and arms, but this is just here where we slot into the global picture with Reutech. Sorry, let's go back a bit there. Let's go back a bit there. Okay, who are we? Reutech Mining. a bit about our history. As I mentioned, Reutech radar systems was established in 1987 in Techno Park in Stellenbosch. And then in 2004, Anglo-American approached us, and they had a request because of our radar expertise for us to develop a cost-effective slope monitoring radar for them. They had some criteria, not only being the obvious things like reliability and accuracy. They asked that we must at least have a 95% operational availability rating for services and support, and then we must create a global footprint in Africa, which we then did, and we took up the challenge from Anglo. And in 2006, Reutech, so at that time, or Reutech Radar Systems, delivered the first MSR system at Newville. Operated successfully, and we started exporting our first units in 2000, that same year, to Chile, and then followed that the following year in 2007 with an additional system to Australia. We grew, the success grew, the system grew, and in 2008 we launched our second generation radar. As we developed the system a bit further, we listened to the clients, their requirements, what they need, what they would like to add to the system in terms of software, etc. So we keep on developing the current product. And then in 2009 we started exporting to North America, Barrick, at that time Goldstrike. And then after some further development on the system, we launched our third generation radar in 2011, which is known as the MSR modular system, which is still available today. I'll get into that system a bit later and explain to you exactly, why we call it the modular system. We then had some inquiries and some requests from the underground market, but, Reutech with their radar expertise, why don't they develop a GPR for underground? Once again, Reutech took up the challenge, and we launched our first GPR underground radar sensor in 2016. I'll also talk about that product later on in the presentation. As the development further and we grew, the fourth generation slope stability radar was launched in 2019. That's our flagship product. It's called the MSR Esprit. And then last year we launched a little product called the Reutech Digital Compass, and I'll also talk about this a bit later in the presentation. Our product range, as mentioned, is the MSR modular, which is a surface product for the slope open cast mining environment. Then I'm going to talk about the MSR Connect, which is our latest software. We've got a product called MPP, or MP squared, or multi-purpose platform. I'll explain that to you guys. Then we've got the Slope Vision, which is can be a standalone on the MP squared or a integrated camera system for the radar. We've got our SSP, or subsurface profiler, our MSR Esprit, which I mentioned to you a bit earlier, and then the RDC product. I'm going to start off with the MSR modular, which is our premium product, or responsible for most of our sales globally. This is can be a trailer. This is a trailer mount option I'm explaining to you. It's called modular because you can customize the system. We've got a radar module, we've got a battery module on there, we've got a generator module on there. So depending on your need in your specific environment, you can take one module, two modules, and even a bucket mount option, which I'll show to you now. Basically consists, as I mentioned, it's a generator module and a radar module and a battery module. The generator has got a 100-liter capacity diesel tank, and once full, that system can run for about 13 days with a tank of diesel. I'm not going to get into too much detail. As I say, if you do have some questions, we can do specific product presentation. This is just an overview to give you an idea of what we do offer into the market. And then, as I mentioned, if the site does not have any external power where the radar is deployed, I beg your pardon, if there's no need for a battery or generator module, then you can run off external power as well. In terms of range of this modular system, Our operating ranges are from 600 meters to 4 kilometers. We are currently working on something else to increase that, and that should be available shortly, so I'm not going to go into that detail. But you don't need to buy different radars for different operating distances or scanning distances. We can increase that with your licenses. So you can buy one system and you can increase as your pit grow, or your specific needs. You know, we can cater for a specific distance. No need to buy different type of radars. I mentioned it a bit earlier on the vehicle or the mounting options. This is the vehicle mount option, where you need to measure various areas of your pit and you want to move your system quite often. You can mount it on the back of a vehicle, or you can have the trailer option as showed earlier, or you can have it as a fixed base mount where you monitor long time and that radar is not being moved. Those are the mounting options. We do get some questions, general questions in terms of weather. Radar systems generally can detect under all weather conditions. It's not inhibited by adverse weather conditions. And then it detects sub-millimeter movement in those conditions. So our system is in excess of 110 kilometers wind. It's a fast deployment system. I'm going to explain a bit about that as well. And then temperature ranges on our system, standard system, is minus 30 degrees to plus 55 degrees. But there is an option for a minus 50 degree system where we operate in countries where that is a requirement. The MSR Esprit system, which is our flagship product, is a very high speed or high scanning radar. It's a fixed antenna. It doesn't move. And it uses what we call MIMO technology, or multiple input, multiple output technology, which is in essence many real aperture radars in one. There's multiple sensors, so hence the product can scan so quickly. And on this, you've got available solar and generator power as well. Because it's a fixed antenna, it's got a fixed scan envelope of 90 degrees by 60 degrees. And it's a standard distance, 50 meters to 4,000 meters or 4 kilometers. What makes the system quite unique is first of all, the fast scanning speed of the system. It completes a scan every 1.8 seconds. And this makes this radar ideal for mines or environments where there is rapidly changing atmospherics. Because of the fast scan speed, it negates most of those atmospherics, so it makes it easier in terms of algorithms that we write into the programs for the radar with the standard series to compensate for the atmospheric conditions. Because of this fast scanning speed of the MSR, it negates most of those atmospherics with the scan speed. Then if we get into some of the software, our latest and greatest software is called MSR Connect. It is constantly evolving and developing. It is something fairly new for us. So we are taking all the inputs from our clients and trying to improve the software to make it a bit more user-friendly. That is something that we had in the past where clients said, but our software is not as user-friendly as some of our competitors. So it is something that we are really working on to improve and to make it a bit more user-friendly. So we are definitely succeeding in that. The system creates a three-dimensional point cloud, the radar system. We measure X, Y, and Z coordinates. You can either create a DTM or you can import a DTM. And then because the system is called MSR, it stands for Movement and Surveying Radar. You can also, the measurements can also be exported into a CSV file and to third-party software. And you can integrate our software with various other software platforms. This gives you an idea of what the HMR, the interface, displays or looks like. with your masking areas and then your alarming areas. You can set up multiple alarming areas with different thresholds and different alarms. Once again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because that's a presentation all on its own. And if you do have some questions around this, we'll gladly answer them after the presentation. This software is a web-based platform. We can have multiple users and devices linked to it. All the data goes to a centralized database. And with MSR Connect, you can also incorporate multiple devices and all radars into that centralized database, which makes it very user-friendly and easy in terms of where all your data is stored and collected and processed. The dashboard is customizable. We've also got multiple languages available on our dashboard. These are all widgets as displayed on your dashboard, which you can change and customize. Whatever is important to you, you can add widgets or take widgets away. This one just gives you an example of the generator health, battery levels, fuel levels, things like that. But once again, this is something that can be easily adjusted on your HMI. You can create a radar health page like this. Tells you everything about the radar health. Once again, just a display to show exactly what it looks like, how easy it is and clean it is in terms of the software. I want to talk a bit about just some general features that makes our system unique. Recently, once again, we listened to our customers. Traditionally, you had to geo-reference our system with a total station. When you move it for blasting out of the pit, or you move it back, you've got to geo-reference it every time. We found that it can be quite, takes up some time. The geotechnical teams or guys requested us if there's not anything easier or quicker that we can do. So we've developed our GPS sensors now that's fitted onto the system. And with this is a push button system where you can now auto geo-reference your radar. So you don't need to do it with a total station. You can, if preferred, you can still do that. But this is just a much easier and quicker system now, developed as per request from our customers. Something else that makes our system quite unique in our software is something called Rapid Align, where with some other systems, once you move the radar and you bring it back to a similar position, you will need to create a new database, which means you basically lose that data or you can't have the continuous data from your previous scans. With our software, if you put the radar in a similar position or back in a similar position before it was moved, it will pick up on those coordinates once it's geo-referenced, and it will continue with your database, which is a very valuable information, especially over longer periods or longer period of time. This shows you another picture of where it overlaps, and your initial or on your points, normal regions or your scan regions, P1, P2. So it picks up on that and just continues with your database. In terms of after sales, there is a I'm not going to get into this too much because obviously your Optron guys will have to discuss this with you in terms of your specific requirements. But we do give a 1-year product and all our warranty on all our products. There's various contract options available, service contracts available. We do operational availability is very high on our systems, as mentioned earlier. We've got a call center here, which is available 24/7. So once you purchase one of our systems, that is available to you. And then, yes, there is some rental options and all kinds of, we structure it according to whatever your need is or whatever you prefer. And then we do what we call a geotechnical support package in terms of that we do not set up your alarms, but we assist you with that. And then we support you in terms of geotechnical questions or data analysis on databases, things like that, we can support you with that as well. We've got our own in-house geotechnical person, which is Charlotte could see, with lots of experience, specifically with our radar, and she'll be happy to discuss any geotechnical lingo with you guys. Another product that we developed, we had a query from industry where they asked us in terms of viewing if there is movement picked up by the radar, how can we view it without physically inspecting, going to the pit and inspecting it. So we've developed a product called Slow Vision. It's an integrated fully georeferenced camera, and it operates independently from the radar. So you can look at different areas of the pit whilst in your control room or in the office on your HMI, and the radar scanning will continue while the camera can focus on a specific area. You can take pictures, you can take video. So this also helps a lot with, as I say, inspection, remote inspection, and then compiling of reports. We can add these pictures or videos to your report if you need to do that. As I mentioned, it is a georeference camera. That's just a little picture taken from the roof of our building here in Stellenbosch, just to give you an idea of the quality of the pictures. Then one of our smaller products, I call it the smaller product. It's a nice to have and it's convenient. It's called the MPP, multi-purpose platform. And this can be utilized for various uses depending on what you want to do with it. You can add Wi-Fi repeaters on it. That is quite something that's quite popular with us or with the mining environment where you don't have line of sight in terms of Wi-Fi to get your radar data back to your control room or your control office. So what we do, we can create a mesh by putting multiple of these platforms in the mine and create your own Wi-Fi network or relay stations. You can also add cameras to them. You can add lights to them. You can add visual alarms. We also use them for input alarms. So it's various uses, very customizable. If you've got anything that you can think of specifically on your mind that you would like to use this trailer for, I'm sure we can do something for you and adapt it to your specific requirement. It's got batteries inside and then the solar panels, so it can operate autonomously. That just shows you there's a camera system on here, audible alarms, visual alarms, and a Wi-Fi repeater. So multiple uses. I mentioned to you earlier our underground GPR or subsurface profiler, SSP as we refer to it. It is basically a handheld roller, or we talk about the paint roller effect, where you can roll this GPR on the area that you want to scan. You can do this as a one-man operation as well. I know the picture has got two people in there, but you get a harness which you can put on, and you can put the tablet in there, so it gives you real-time data. So you don't need to scan an area underground and then leave that environment and go back and process, and that all takes time. When you need to do it quickly and on the fly, underground you can do that and you get real-time data on the system immediately. It's a state-of-the-art FMCW GPR. We can see approximately 10 meters into rock surfaces to detect joints or faults or planes, voids, cracks, etc. There is no cables because it communicates with the tablet via Wi-Fi. It's lightweight, and as mentioned, you can get your results immediately. In terms of what the data looks like, that's just a little picture. This will show you there's some fault lines there or joints there. It is FCC certified for underground use, and then in South Africa we've got the intrinsic safe certification as well, more for our coal mines. And then we've got our RDC, or Reutech Digital Compass, which is a latest little product we put into the market. Basically, this is a digital compass for geologists and geotechnical engineers to measure fault, bed, or other planar geological features. It just makes it's a handheld device, makes it very easy because it's a push-button system. Dip and strike, or dip and dip direction. It's a one-press measurement. And then those measurements are exported in a CSV file and displayed on your HMI with the software that we provide with it. And that stores up to about 900 readings. Typical accuracy less than ±2 degrees. All right, our Reutech mining, or our global footprint, is where do we operate? As you can see, we are on most continents: Africa, South North America, Europe, India, Asia, Australia, and then far up as Russia. It's a bit difficult there for us at the moment, so we had to scale down those operations. But yeah, they are traditionally part of our portfolio as well. At the moment, as I say, it's a bit difficult for us to operate there. And then globally, if we talk about MSR systems, we've got approximately, it's more than 250 systems deployed currently globally on the MSR. This is our SSP footprint, newer product, but it's also growing. So yes, we're becoming very strong now in the south of Africa. So we really like to ideally grow that product into Africa. And in South America, nothing in North America at the moment, and nothing in Australia at the moment. In terms of our distribution and support network, we've got distributors once again on most continents. So we operate through those distributors, supply our products and services. Traditionally, we have supplied the whole of Africa through Reutech here in South Africa. But now with Optron on board, that is becoming their responsibility now, and we trust that they will do a good job for us moving forward. In Australia, we've got the Reutech Australia office, so we don't operate through a distributor in Australia, but it's a independent Reutech office. Our client base, most well-known mining companies or mining houses are on board with us, so we supply most of them. And this list also continuously growing, and we're happy to say that, and we look forward to growing this to maybe not one slide, but 2 or 3 slides. Some questions about accreditation. We've got the FCC, the CE, the ACMA, the ISO, and the ICASA. So most requirements are met, or say almost all requirements are met in terms of accreditation. So for the Africa and for the South African guys, there shouldn't be any issues with accreditation. There is some challenges in certain countries in Europe, but that's also something we are addressing and getting into. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is my presentation for the day. I said I'll keep it short and sweet. If you do have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them now, or you can talk to Kobus and the Optron team. But I think if there's any immediate questions, you can talk to me about it.
Yeah, thanks, Tertius. I think what I like most about the MSR, for instance, is the fact that you don't have to take all the bells and whistles if you have a very simple monitoring job, for instance, like portal monitoring. If you have to monitor the area around your underground portal, you can, for instance, just put up a MSR 60 on a concrete slab, connect it to electricity, and off you go.
Yeah.
And also the SSP, it's perfect for preconditioning underground. And I guess you can use it probably above ground as well for limited tasks, but you can do.
Yeah, we've got. I only mentioned our geotechnical engineer, but we've got an underground mining specialist as well called Heinrich Greef. So it gets a bit technical in terms of what they want to measure underground and how they measure it. but Heinrich is available, to chat to the guys to see if that specific product will suit their exact requirements. So I had a discussion this morning with one of the mines in Zambia, who I pulled Heinrich in, and they wanted to measure some walls and some roof sections. They do have a problem with water table, etc. So yeah, we went through the discussion, and long story short, basically we can assist them. Hein listened to their requirements. So yeah, we involve the experts. As I say, I don't know everything. I'm a sales guy, generally a sales guy. I'm not that technical, but we do get the correct people involved, like yourself, to chat to these guys.
Okay, Gerald, I see you have your video on. Do you want to ask a question? I've got perhaps another question on MSR Connect. So if you, for instance, have a existing Trimble 4D control prism monitoring system, I presume you can then view your prism data in MSR Connect as well and sort of view it in conjunction with your radar data.
Yes, you can.
Okay, that would be great.
Trimble is one of the compatible platforms that we use, that you can pull your prism data into the system. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we can. There is some various other platforms, SlideMinder, I know Geomos. There is some other platforms as well. We're adding to that as well because we understand that there's various requirements. Canary was recently added as well to our platform. So yeah, we can import that data. Makes it a bit easier to get everything in one place.
Okay, great. And the S3, for instance, I mean, it's a very fast scanning radar, so I guess you can also probably then detect very fast moving objects and very small scale objects as well. So, am I understanding it incorrectly?
No, you can, but in general, slope doesn't. Yes, you can, but even with the standard MSR, you can detect brittle failures with that system because of the resolution it offers. With MSR, it's fast scanning, but generally slopes don't change that quickly or move that quickly. But once again, yes, you can detect fast or brittle failures and single bench failures as well with both systems.
Okay. Guys, does anybody else have a question for Tertius or a question for myself?
Yes, I have one question. I'm Paul from Mutamba Mining. I'm a senior geotech engineer in charge of monitoring. I have just a question on the range. Why the range of your radar system depends on the license?
We integrate like that in the software, so because the need doesn't generally exist for everybody to go up to 4 kilometers, and there is costs involved. So we try to customize it to your specific requirement. So if you want to upgrade, yes, then there is a cost involved. So, but if you don't need 4 kilometers, you don't need more than 2.5 kilometers, why would you then require a license for that? Unfortunately, that is the requirement on our software in terms of licenses. I'm sure Trimble, you guys at Cobus also got the licenses. I don't know if it's exactly the same thing, but I'm sure there's some license requirements with you guys as well.
Yeah, and we have similar. Sorry, Paul, you can continue.
Because sometimes we can have one system. Sometimes we can need to move this system to deploy it on another location. And on this location can be the range can change.
Yeah. What I would suggest is when you purchase your system initially, work on your furthest range, and we give you a license for that range. So you don't need to have a license. For example, I think I understand your question a bit better now. You don't need to have a license for 600 meters, for 1,200 meters, for 250 meters, for 4,000 meters. So if the furthest distance that you will ever scan is 2,500 meters, you're going to buy one license for up to 2,500 meters. You don't buy it for 600 or 1,200. You're going to buy one license. Does that answer your question, Paul?
There is no possibility to put it and to put the system on the variable range.
On a variable range?
Yes, or not depending on the license. Just if it can be used on short range or long range.
You can, but the license that you will obtain will be the furthest scanning license. So you cannot have a 600 meter license and expect to scan 4 kilometers with that. It's not going to allow you to do that.
My second.
So I think, Paul, also to answer that question as well is the MSR. Let's say, for instance, you take the MSR 400, which can scan up to 4 kilometers. It can also do only 50 meters if you
Yes.
don't want to scan only 50 meters.
Yes.
So you don't necessarily, if you want to only scan 600 meters, it doesn't mean that you have to now downscale your license to measure 600 meters.
Okay.
Correct.
Understood. Yeah.
Maybe I was just explaining it a bit badly. I don't know.
What is the size of your pixels?
Sorry, the size of the pixels, the resolution.
Yes, the resolution of your radar systems.
Okay, the resolution, that also depends on the system and the distances you are scanning. But I will, Paul, if you give me, I've got a whole case study about that in terms of our radars. So if you can provide me with your details, I'll be happy to share that information in detail with you, because there is a lot of detail going into that. So I don't know, Kobus, if you can share Paul's details with me, I will have a separate discussion around that with him.
Yeah, we can get in touch with Paul.
Because I can see where he's going with his questions, and that that it does get quite involved.
Yeah. My third question is on the slope vision.
Yes.
Yes. With this slope vision, can we do pit inspection with this?
Yes. Yes.
The resolution is high enough to help us to do pit inspection.
Yes. Depending on where your radar is mounted or where your camera is mounted, as long as it's mounted, within line of sight, you can do pit inspection with it. We use it, or the geotechnics use it for visual inspection where there's movement and they look at that specific area. But yeah, that will depend on where that camera is deployed. So if it's at the bottom of the pit, you might struggle to see very high up in the pit. In generally, our radars are deployed on the opposite facing wall, and you can have a clear line of sight of an area that you're scanning. So it depends on where that camera is deployed.
But your radar system doesn't have a camera.
Sorry, Paul, let's repeat that.
The radar system.
Yes.
Doesn't have the camera.
It's not standard with the system, because some clients don't want the camera or don't need the camera, but we supply it as an option. So you can buy it with the camera or without the camera. That's your choice.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. I will have a discussion with you around the resolution as well.
Okay. All right.
We have another question from Amadou. Amadou, you're welcome to ask the question. I think you might be muted, so you must just unmute yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. I'm Sandogo from Sajola Mine in Mali. So I wanted to know, as you was just now highlighting, we are limited in terms of scanning if the pit come too deeper. So I wanted to know, did you develop any other tools, I mean the smaller one that we can bring inside the pit and then quickly scan some unstable zone? Because I have seen this one with IDS or those kind of company. They have those solutions. I don't know if Reutech have that solution to help us in the area that we don't have any solution to scan.
No, other than what I've went through now in terms of the product, that's what we've got available. I think I do understand your question, and you are not the first client actually to ask us that question. So in going back to my earlier comments I made about customer requirements and development, we've had that requirement before. It is something that we are looking into and busy seriously considering and developing and putting into market a smaller type system. I can't give you too much details at this stage, but it is something that we are pursuing. So, but other than what's available currently in the market, no, I cannot assist you, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think also keep in mind that you don't have to have mount the trailer on the pit edge. You can also tow the trailer inside the pit and mount it there where it's in a safe location, and when it's blasting, you can remove the radar, just pull the trailer out of the pit, and once blasting is completed, you can then return the trailer to the inside of the pit.
Yes, that is possible. But for example, I'm scanning the pit eastward, so I will put the radar at the western side to scan the eastward, and then in case if I only have one radar on site, and then we have also a problem at the pit western side, I mean right below the where the radar is. So if we have those smaller solution, I think that can help us also.
Yes, I think I understand your question. You wanna scan multiple or different areas where you can't cover with one radar. I think that's what you're alluding to. At the moment, no, you're going to have more than one radar. You've also got to take in consideration your return angles with radar specifically. Now, when you get very oblique with your radars, your return signals are not that good or not that strong. So we try to get your return signals very perpendicular to the radar. So I mean, I don't know what your pit looks like, but I'll be happy once again, if you share some information with us to look at your specific area or your specific pit and see, what I can make some suggestions, but I will need to get some data from you to understand it.
Okay. And so if you about your digital compass for the geotech or geologists.
Yes.
Can I know, please, Aaron, how much is
the price of it?
Yes.
You're going to need to ask your Optron guys. They're selling it.
Yeah, we will. I will get in touch with you afterwards, and we can discuss the pricing on that.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, Kobus can give you a quotation on that, but I can tell you it's not expensive.
Okay. Thank you.
Only a pleasure. Yes, if you want to share that data, please speak to Kobus or send us an email and share it with us, and I'll gladly look at your current dimensions of your pit, and I can advise you, on what I know is available in the market and what we can offer you, and then we can discuss it. Or you can discuss with Kobus. Doesn't matter, Kobus. I'm sure if you look at the data, you can get it. You'll understand exactly as well what his requirements is.
I'm sure we'll be fine.
No problem. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you have any more questions? I think, guys, then we can probably wrap this up. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending. I hope it was very informative. Hopefully we can add to those to those countries that you're not represented yet.
Absolutely.
And then just for everybody's information, you're welcome to reach out to us and follow us on social media. We're on basically all the social media platforms that you do get. And also you can, if you want to find out more about the Reutech radar equipment, you can visit our website, www.optron.com, and all of the information will be on there as well. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, Cobus. Bye-bye.